The new live-action version of The Little Mermaid is one of the most anticipated films of 2023. But was it worth the anticipation? So let's get into it. Oh, and remember, if you like this review, please hit the subscribe button and get more videos from me. So Disney is a powerhouse of technology, story, and imagination. The Mouse House has this gift for translating stories between mediums, and what they did was a technological wonder. But did the adaptation from the cartoon to the live action film stand up? Yes, it absolutely did. I would even say that in many ways, the 2023 version of Little Mermaid is even better than the original, with a few exceptions. What we get is the live action version is a thoughtfully told story that looked at the deficiencies of the original script and addressed those missing problematic elements. So the decisions that Ariel and Eric were making had more weight and more context. I think some people who are attached to the animated version might not need or appreciate the story changes, and they may even find some of them to be unnecessary. However, I would argue that the changes enhanced the film overall, creating more texture to the world above the sea and more meaning to the choices that the characters made. The story stayed firmly focused on Ariel and Eric, which I actually really appreciated. So, what made the new adaptation of The Little Mermaid work so well? First, it's the actors. Ariel. Halle Bailey was lovely as Ariel. Her voice is ethereal. She's so sweet. And she does a magnificent job of using her face and her body to convey her feelings without language, which is so important, especially for those scenes where she has no voice. Jonah Hauer-King was a great Prince Eric. He carried himself so well and made the character so much more rounded and sensitive and frankly more likable than his cartoon predecessor. King Triton, played by Javier Bardem, was terrific. He really was the Sea King. He also leaned into the loving and protective father role, which was really well done, and he didn't overplay it at all, which made Ariel's choices that much more believable. And Melissa McCarthy, girl, you did a great job with Ursula. I really think she was a standout. Of all the characters, she felt like a true connection to the cartoon, bringing the big, bad, evil witch character to the surface while throwing in a little levity to keep the movie from tipping into the taking itself too seriously category. The second thing that made this film work really well was that they fleshed out the characters a lot more. We got so much more of Ariel, seeing her exploring the island, learning about the other lands and islands from Eric. And we hear her internal monologue during those voiceless scenes. And that added so much more depth to her character. And Eric, we finally learn more about this guy who captured Ariel's heart. We learn what drives him. We actually see him having fun with Ariel and learning about her as a person, even without her voice. And we realize how much these two have in common. By creating more depth with Eric, the live action film transforms Ariel's story from a sweet but somewhat flat Disney princess film into a fully realized love story. Third, they solved some of those story holes from the original, which I can't really go into without spoilers, so I'm just going to leave that there. Still, some of those solutions do a great job of elevating themes from the original to be more visible and more pertinent to a modern audience of young people and parents. Fourth, the music was critical. The original music by Alan Menken is classic, and the new additions and their reinterpretations by Lin-Manuel Miranda, they were just terrific. They kept many of the old favorites and they added a few new songs to flesh out the story. I think this is one of the reasons that Eric felt so much more realized as a character. He had so much more agency because he was really part of the music. There were some new songs that were fun and interesting, songs that conveyed new meaning and understanding. But I wish they had a little more of the Caribbean flavor to them to make them feel like part of the fabric of the world. And not all of the new songs achieve this. Still, they all served a purpose. One thing that was musically brilliant was the music from the village and the on-land background music, which had this lovely stylistic echo of the music from Under the Sea, which made the connection between the two worlds that much more solid. It really felt like these two worlds were in the same storyverse. The final thing that I should mention, again, is the technology. Disney is a technological powerhouse. Their creative labs have this innate understanding of how technology can help to convey story, and they lean into this strength in impressive ways. People are so tired of CGI, and that was one of my big fears with this film, is that we'd get a CGI screen bomb for 2 hours. Instead, the technology teams made magic. And the film looked like what I would imagine a cartoon would look like if it came to life. I credit director Rob Marshall with having the guts to pull off this film. I'm sure there will be people who won't like it and who will constantly compare it to the original. However, the 2023 adaptation of The Little Mermaid deserves to be judged on its own merits. And for that reason alone, I think it's utterly fantastic and completely magical. It's a great family film. I really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. If you like this review, please hit the subscribe button and get more videos from me. Also, be sure to let me know what you thought of the film. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I really want to know what you thought. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's all I have for you for now. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.